not long, but you were two of my favorite guys, and so I'm really excited to take a few minutes and chat with you and kind of some of the inaugural first pilot episodes of Quoted, my video YouTube channel that kind of focuses on business owners. So Ryan, Blake, welcome.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely. So the big reason, and we did talk about this in the lead up, and I wanted to share your story is kind of twofold, right? I think that you guys, you recognized opportunity and took advantage, seized that opportunity. But it was a big move, and it wasn't just switching from one carrier or one company to another. It was two guys that, were friends that started a business, and I think that's pretty cool. Blake, you were in Virginia, and Ryan was in North Carolina. So I love the story. I'd love to hear and be able to share that kind of, where you were coming into State Farm and then obviously now with Goosehead.
You go first. I have to change the battery on my camera.
Well, I got introduced to State Farm when I still lived in Illinois, in the Chicagoland area. Thought it was going to be, the cash cow, right, man? We're going to have the means and the finances to generate a bunch of opportunity. How could you not grow a book if you got all these quote options? How could you not possibly grow it to be what you want it to be? That opportunity led me to Northern Virginia, where my wife's from, in order to launch a State Farm. And it was pretty much what we thought it would be, right? We were buying all this opportunity with the finance that taking over a traditional book gave you. Lots of internet leads, lots of opportunities to quote. What we ran into was that the finances of that was unsustainable. We couldn't balance out the marketing budget and the growth or even lack thereof with the business that was going out the back door, the lapse cancellation, losing 25-30% of your book month over month, constantly rolling over clients and trying to keep up with it in order to grow little by little in increments. Coupling that with trying to sell a whole slew of products. State Farm will be happy to tell you they got 107 products that you can sell. How could you ever fail with all that opportunity? Problem is you get spread so thin that you can't be great at anything. Can't focus your attention towards any one thing because you got to do a little bit of all of it in order to max your compensation. So February, it was probably Valentine's Day, maybe the day before, last year, 2017, I got a LinkedIn message from a guy named Chase Anderson telling me that they were looking for interested parties to learn about a company called Goosehead Insurance for the state of Virginia. We had mutual friends that had aligned themselves with Goosehead already, so I'd heard of them. So I said, yeah, man, I'll hear you out. And hopped on a phone call for him, went through, probably spent 30 minutes on the phone just kind of learning about it, hearing what they had to say, cutting up about the insurance business and so forth. Hung up the phone and called this guy and said, hey, man, I think I might be onto something for a way out of State Farm. I'll let Ryan kind of tell you his story as to why that was even a relevant conversation.
Yeah, so my background, I spent 8.5 years with an agent in Florida, and we grew a small book to a fairly large book in about 8.5 years. So, and then after that, I opened up my office here in Charlotte for 2.5. So when Blake, kind of reached out to me about Goosehead, hearing all the products and the options and all that stuff was wonderful to me because I was losing a lot of people that I was good friends with, that I saw in the neighborhood, It makes going to the pool a little more difficult because I don't have anywhere else to put them. So, but the other thing with my background is I think one of the reasons we were extremely successful in that model in Florida is because they started non-renewing all the homeowners policies in Florida. So we were in a do or die situation to either kind of concede and try to save all that stuff or just focus on writing a bunch of auto insurance. And we blew auto insurance out the door, man. And we focused solely on that. So when I kind of reflect back on my success and then what Goosehead focuses on is just the home and auto umbrella flood, like those four main things, it was very, very attractive to me at that point because I wanted to drive one lane, drive it fast, and do it better than anybody else. And that's what we did in Florida that contributed to a lot of the success there and get the wheel kind of turning super fast down there into the financials and doing all that. But it just takes time. It takes, that took every bit of that 8.5 years down there to get every product line moving. And I just didn't have that time moving up here when I opened up.
So I think one of the really unique things is sometimes when you see somebody that gets really ahead of the curve on certain things, and Ryan and certainly now I know Blake's been brought into that media, that Instagram Live, the Facebook Live, the videos that you guys are doing. And I think that, share a little bit about, Ryan, the branding that you're utilizing, how you're doing some of those social media posts that are now becoming videos. Because I think this is a cool, you don't often get kind of a duo like you where, Ryan, I know you've been doing video for years now. I mean, what are some of the things that you're able to do on a marketing level that maybe you can see other people that they can, hey, you can utilize this? Just let me pick your brain for a second about that, because I think that's something that's really unique about your agency. Not just that you do it, but that you've been doing it really well for a while now.
I think a lot of it, I don't know where the rules or compliance comes in on some of this stuff and why it differs so much between captive and independent, but I think it's also good to mention the fact that, what we were doing now, or what I'm doing now, was not very different to what I was doing back then, and I was kind of getting my hand slapped because, from a branding standpoint, and even like Gary Vee talks about it, is like, be the mayor of your town, show what's going on. Charlotte's booming here, man. There's a lot of construction. There's a lot of new neighborhoods. I came from Florida. They started building Publix. That's a big deal up here, the grocery store. So I just kind of took that approach as to, hey, this is what's going on in the area. And I mean, I don't know. I guess what it gets down to, Pat, is me and Blake laugh about it all the time. Insurance is not the most fun and exciting conversation for people to have, right? So at the end of the day, we're talking about, what's going on in our area, what we do, like, on the side, not really even selling insurance, but just who we are. I think it does bring all that, the video and content. I think it just brings out our personality. We're just like you guys, man. We don't want to overpay for insurance and any of that stuff either. And we get the fact that it's not the most exciting thing, but we're having a lot of fun doing it. And I think we're able to showcase that a little bit better in the videos and what we're doing. I don't know why it is different though, because I couldn't talk about Publix in the background or the new Starbucks that was going in and roll that out on my Facebook because of the fact that it was a company logo behind me. So
that makes sense. I mean, that to me, I like that, that piece of it. It's always cool. I spent a lot of time in Charlotte, and so I recognize some of the things, certainly not the new Publix, but shifting gears a little bit and kind of still on that same line. I always tell people, I think insurance is a unique opportunity from a business ownership standpoint because you can get involved in things that you're interested in. A lot of people could benefit from the excitement that they have from a Gary Vee conversation. Growing an agency, growing a brand, insurance just is that product piece, right? The rest of it is really who you are, like you said, Ryan, where you are, who you are. Blake, do you see that as an opportunity? Just kind of walk us through that career aspect of, maybe specifically even what Goosehead has to offer in Charlotte right now. If people can, come and track you guys down.
Well, sure, man. I mean, we don't, we've taken an approach where the model is so simplified for what an insurance agency and agency owner looks like that we don't necessarily see there as being a lot of significant opportunities in the industry that are even similar to what we do now. And what we've essentially done, I mean, Ryan touched on it, is we've picked a path where we've got this very narrow focus. My career started with Northwestern Mutual, where we were told we were the #1 life insurance company in the country. Your job is to be the best life insurance agent that you can be. It's easy to focus your mind and your time around what you need to do in order to be successful when you're driving that narrow of a lane. So in this model, it's property and casualty insurance, personal lines for the most part. We don't touch commercial. We use that to build referral partnerships outside of Goosehead. We do home, auto, flood, umbrella, and we do it very, very quickly, very well, with multiple options, where the clients ultimately get the ultimate say-so and choice in what it is they're purchasing. What's going on here ultimately in North Carolina right now is Goosehead's in full launch with franchises across the state. 15 months ago, we were the only one here. I think there's 16, maybe 17 franchises in North Carolina now.
Handful in South Carolina.
Couple, 3, 4, 5, 6 in South Carolina. Virginia's starting to expand. Maryland just got their first one as well. So if you're interested in being agency ownership, you need to chat with Goosehead, preferably our buddy Chase Anderson there on the franchise team. The man has told us a lot of things, promised us a number of things, and delivered on every single one of them. From our standpoint, we're just about to enter the phase where we want to grow and expand our individual agency. And the beauty of Goosehead is that the people that we hire ultimately get to do the exact same thing that we've done and been successful at already. Nobody has to come in and sit and answer a phone. Nobody has to learn the back end of 25 different companies' systems and how to update credit cards and so on and so forth. You come in, you build relationships with the people that can send you business. We know exactly who those people are, where they are, what they're doing, because of the tools that are afforded us. And ultimately, you come in and you start to grow your own book of business here with us. So, I mean, if you're not in the financial point or want to manage people or take on the responsibility of that, then we want to expand into a big team here in the area and capitalize on what is at least a 10 to 15 year boom of people flooding into North Carolina and northern South Carolina, ultimately, which is about 40 minutes from us. It's as easy as it comes. I mean, I was just telling Ryan today that some days I feel like my life's even on autopilot because the insurance conversation is the same. The conversation with other insurance agents is generally the same. Everybody's got pretty much the same 4 or 5 concerns about where they are currently or the industry as a whole. When it comes to client introductions, everybody wants to know what they have, what they don't have on their individual policies, and are they getting a fair shake on the price? We address all of those things. So, and it really is simplified into the least common denominator. I tell people we do the same 3 things every day. We visit the people that send us business. We quote business and we write business. It's pretty rare anymore that we lose business.
You know, the career opportunity and what you guys are doing now, it affords you kind of a different way of approaching it, but the consumer side of it, the consumer's winning in this model as well, correct?
Consumer absolutely wins in this model, man. I mean, I'm sure not everybody does it the same, but in our world, I mean, we're always delivering the best deal with the best coverage every single time. Goosehead as a whole has what they call it net promoter score, basically. Out of 100 people, how many would recommend you to friends and family? Goosehead runs at about an 86, 87% clip on that.
Right.
So the consumer experience is second to none.
Well, I mean, that's what it's about, right? For me and my side of it. And I know that's what it's about for you guys. Ryan and Blake, you know, it sounds like, you know, if you're in the insurance industry already, that the Goosehead conversation is something that should be happening. You should at least take a look at it. It also sounds like, you know, you guys are kind of the go-to in that North Carolina area. So Ryan and Blake, you know, quickly, how can people get in touch with you?
Facebook and all that other stuff. Our cell phones are accessible too. I mean, we talk on our cell phones all the time. That's probably the best one, you know, is just call us.
Yeah.
And
Goosehead Insurance in Charlotte. You can reach me on my cell at 703-975-0932. Anytime, preferably between 9 and 5. I got kids.
Well, I'll put all of that. I'll make sure I put all that in the
yeah,
description.
throw that in there too.
Exactly. I want to direct people to everything you guys are doing, because I think you're doing a good job. I think you're leading in the industry itself by example, but I also think that the work and the things that are happening for the consumer, I can hear you guys. You're vetted through us. So I'm looking forward to catching up with you guys and seeing where things go from here. But I appreciate you guys jumping on with me for one of the first episodes of Quoted, and I'm sure we'll have you back real soon.
Cool.
Sounds good, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Blake Manhart, Ryan Mahoney, Goosehead Insurance in Charlotte. We'll talk to everybody again on the next one.